Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, I want to take you along with me as I'm going to be doing some garden preserves. I will be making two different jams and a syrup. All of this are from the flowers which are growing in a garden. One of the jams will be an elderflower jam. I have been prepping this for the past couple of days because I wanted to soak in all the flavors from the flowers, and the other one is with rose. We have a good bloom of roses from our own garden, and as usual I would like to make a rose syrup, and then I will also be making a little bit of jam. I will link it on the cards above. I have shared videos and I also have them in the blog post. I will link it below in the description box. Let me get on with this. The prep time is what is long in elderflower jellies. I picked each petal or each flower and then soaked them into this apple juice. This is an unfiltered apple juice, so the color is a little bit on the darkish side. The bottles in the background are all elderflower cordial, which are made just a few days before making this jelly. For this, I am adding pectin sugar, and then to add the extra flavor and to bring back the light color, I am adding some lemon juice. So the measurement is like this: 3 cups of flour soaked in apple juice. I add equal amount of pectin sugar and the juice of a lemon. Boil the jam on medium heat, but keep stirring it continuously because this particular jam has a tendency to boil over, and it is advisable to take a big pot. I'm using this special jam making pot, and it's also easier to pour that way. The method to test if the jam is set and ready to bottle is you drop a few drops of the jam into a frozen plate. Once the jam stops flowing, it starts to form a thick film, then you know it is ready for bottling. I had quite a large quantity, so it took me roughly about 45 minutes because this was quite a big quantity. I like to sterilize all the jam jars in my oven. I have a special function, as I've mentioned a few times, and this really saves me on all the extra pots. And after that, I will be filling it up. It's advisable to fill your jam jars on a wooden board or a tea towel. It can break due to the temperature differences. We have a granite stone, and that can really affect the temperature. Leave about a centimeter before you close the lid. Make sure there is no residue lying around the rims of the lid, and then close the lid tightly. After a while, once the jam starts cooling, it will start to form a vacuum, and this is what will seal the jam. It's not really necessary to do water bath canning or pressure canning. I usually don't do this, and the jam is really good because sugar is the biggest preservative, and this usually lasts up to a year if stored in the right conditions, like in a cool and dark place. So far, as of now, this was the biggest jam making day I had, and the most jam I made was with elderflowers. This has such a really delicate flavor, and once the jam had set, it also had the perfect consistency. Even when you scooped in a spoon of the jam, the jelly had set back to its original state. We have a couple of rose bushes which have very fragrant roses, but this is our biggest producing rose bush. We get so much of it, and I don't know what to do with most of them, and many of them fall after a thunderstorm. For making this recipe, you'll have to tap the rose slightly on a tray to remove any kind of bugs which are lurking inside, and then remove each petal. First, I will be making a rose syrup with these petals. For this, I used 50 grams of fresh rose petals cleaned and washed, and to that 500 milliliter of filtered water, 600 grams of castor sugar. Cook till all the sugar has dissolved completely on low flame. Close the lid and let it simmer for a further of 5 to 10 minutes under very low flame. You will want all the essential oil from the rose to seep into the liquid, so please don't boil it. Then remove from heat and add lemon juice after it is cooled. You can additionally add 1 drop of rose essential oil, but this is completely optional. Once the syrup has cooled, close the pot and set it in the refrigerator for 24 to 48 hours. Then filter it and then store it in sterilized glass jars. While I was going on with this recipe, my husband had harvested some rhubarb from our garden. So I decided to make rhubarb jam with this. This is also a very easy recipe, and I'm making it with light muscovado sugar and not pectin sugar. Yeah, I will make ice cream with it. With the syrup, I'll make ice cream. While the syrup is simmering, I'm chopping some candied ginger for the rhubarb jam. I used the same pot to make the rose petal jam to save up on the washing. For this recipe, I am using 2 cups of tightly packed rose petals, and then added 1.5 cups of filtered water and 2 cups of pectin sugar. So the quantity of sugar to the rose petals is equal, and then you add in, after it has cooked, 2 to 3 tablespoons of freshly pressed lemon juice, and as usual you do the plate test before bottling the jam. It is advisable to cook the petals first and then add in the sugar so that the petals cook a little bit faster. I was a little bit in a hurry since it was quite late at night, and I mixed it all together. And to make it a nicer, smoother consistency, I used the stab mixer to blitz it shortly. I like to fill in some smaller jars too, because these make ideal presents during the Christmas time. You can mix in a few varieties, and that way the receiver is happy to get a few varieties in small tiny jars. As I'm going to be winding up the preserving from my garden produce, I'm going to be making this last jam, which is with rhubarb. This is a really delicious recipe. It has a nice sweetish and tart taste and a real hit in our family. For this recipe, I added roughly about a kilogram of rhubarb. The measurement is, for a kilogram of rhubarb, you add 750 grams of brown muscovado sugar. But I think I adjusted according to the proportion. It was not really 1 kilogram of rhubarb. And to that, I added 75 grams of candied ginger. Then I cook it with very little water and closed it, and then mashed it with the ladle, and then once it was ready for bottling, I bottled it into sterilized glass jars. Try this recipe out. The season with rhubarb is almost over in Switzerland, but in some other parts of the world maybe there's still rhubarb. This recipe is very delicious, and I love to make also rhubarb scones. I have shared these recipes previously a few years back in this channel. I will link it also below in the description box. Thank you for sticking around and watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more such content. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, bye-bye.